on our stakeholders and donors to deliver more for less, to deliver greater impact to Sarah for the same investment or less. So we think that these themes, which all lead to aligning ourselves better with Sarah and giving her more where she needs it, it's very consistent, at least right now, where donors are into what they're looking for PSI. I mean, one of our kind of cultural beliefs is that someday we believe that the people who can deliver the most efficient dallies or the highest return on investment to Sarah, that organization wins. That's why we measure it, that's why we fight for it, that's why most of this plan is about that. And donor DFID is shouting that, USAID is shouting that. They might not measure it exactly the same way, but they want more. And they want more for their money, they want more for Sarah, and we think that these are the kind of things that will influence that. Now, that may change our messaging on how we talk about this. For example, we wouldn't go to DFID and say we're the best marketing organization. That's not very palatable. And even some of you might not like those words. But all we're talking about is being the best. Really, the metric for marketing is delivering value to Sarah. That's all we're talking about. It's good public health. But messaging to donors has to be, it will change. We have to be careful with that. But this is more about what we think is right and what we think ultimately will be attracted to donors. You're all very brave. You stayed past the bell. Thank you for joining. Any time you want to ask questions, please do.
Hi. I was wondering, listening to your presentation, I noticed the terminology and the lingo is all very economic focused, talking about customers and consumers and that kind of thing. And over the past 5 years, we've seen a sort of a bigger shift into areas like health services. And I guess maybe I've always been a little confused at PSI. We're public health and then on the one side, and we're social marketing on the other side. And we kind of try and join those, and we use a lot of the economic language. And I was wondering whether you've considered or how other organizations would react to this kind of talk, and whether maybe using terminology like patients, for HIV testing or IUD insertion, and those types of areas we're getting into has kind of come into this dialogue.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a great question. I think you've said what probably goes through a lot of people's minds. Well, first of all, consumer, forget it. That's not a word we should be using. I mean, you said merging good public health, social marketing. I mean, I think where we're going towards is, we want to improve health systems, and whether you call it good marketing or good public health, they both start with Sarah, her needs, and what is the most efficient investment to achieve that. So some of these words like value, I think public health is using the word value and value for money a lot more. Consumer, forget about it. I mean, that's not a good word. I shouldn't even have used it. Marketing is a grossly misunderstood and widely unliked word, but it's the discipline of meeting the needs of an audience in the most efficient way. And we're not there to make profit, but we are there to use the skills of the private sector where they apply, because they're really good at that, but for the benefit of Sarah. So I could see why it'd be very difficult for you. I think we have to use the language that's appropriate to the audience, and I think we have to agree internally what we really mean by these things. We shouldn't be confusing each other with terms, and if you feel there's some terms in here that should change, just please let me know. But we tried to keep it, simple. I could see why marketing might be an alienating word, but again, I won't try to explain it again. But we think we're about improving health systems for Sarah's benefit, and that's why we come to work. And sometimes we use a little different words, and sometimes they're very alienating, particularly if they sound like business words applied to public health. I know you're not suggesting it, but yeah, if I gave this presentation at another organization, they'd be like, what are you guys? You must be for profit. In fact, many stakeholders think we are for profit. because of the way we talk, because we hire aggressive people, we're all about implementation. So no, it's a great point, and how we go with ourselves externally is a whole different discussion, and even internally it's a challenge because people, words have baggage, and it goes back to that video. These words are so loaded. Yes.
Along with the term value, we're talking about a lot of words that have become hot topics, and another word that has become a hot topic in the development industry in general is transparency. And I was wondering if in our drive for creating more value, we'll also be concentrating on a drive for transparency, not just saying, look at our value, but also backing it up with solid evidence behind it.
That's a fantastic point. It's not anywhere in there. I know Carl is